Despite dropping 6 of their last 8 games, the Americans have continued to dominate the battle for the Falls. They'll have another shot at victory today, this time on the Canadian side, with Grant Moore back in the fold after a 2-game absence. It's the Americans, it's the Ironbacks, it's PGCBL Baseball right here on the Americans Baseball Network.
That the ace of the Giant pitching staff that season was Niagara Falls native Sal Magley. A league-low 2.71 earned run.
They chose Niagara Falls because of the stadium, because of the history, because they believe in Niagara Falls.
Tickets 716-215-6161.
And where do you play?
We play right at Sal Magley, gorgeous stadium.
Set the 1-0 to Boyle. Is hammered to right field.
Go, baby, go, baby. Go,
Come
baby,
here,
go,
fence.
Baby.
That ball is way out of here.
We welcome you back into George Taylor Field for PGCBL Baseball as the Americans and Ironbacks, the second leg of a home-and-home. The Americans 4-0 in the season series over the Ironbacks. I'm Andrew Roberts. I'll be your play-by-play broadcaster for the entire season. And your Ironbacks are getting introduced on the field right now, but since the Americans are batting first, we'll give you a look at their lineup. Grant Moore going to be leading off and DHing. He's back in the lineup after a couple days out. Evan Core bats second, plays center. Gavin Boyle batting third once again in left field. Dalton Harper doing the catching. He'll be in the cleanup spot. Paul Delanto bats fifth, the extra hitter. Graydon Miller at first, batting sixth. Jack Satinoff stepping in to play second, bat seventh. Brady Bowles back at third, batting eighth. Alan Ramos, the shortstop, bats ninth. And Derek Gismondi to round out the order in right field. And they will be facing Ironbacks starting pitcher Ethan Wolf for the second time this season. Wolf is 0-1 with a 15 ERA and 1 strikeout. Comes from Three Rivers Community College, and you see him coming out onto the field right now. Wolf had a rough go against these Americans last time around. We'll see if he can rebound in this game across the Canadian border. He pitched in Niagara Falls, U.S., last Saturday. Now a week later will pitch here on the Canadian side against the same Americans team. We will pause for just a moment here for both national anthems.
And the United States. First, the national anthem of the United States will be played, followed by the singing of O Canada.
Welcome back here to George Taylor Field for this Americans baseball game against the Ironbacks. It's the 5th time these two teams will face off the entire season. This battle for the Falls continues, and so far, the Americans have been on the winning end of it. A 4-0 record in this matchup thus far, and today, after 2 games without him, the Americans will have Grant Moore back in the lineup, and per usual, he will be leading things off. Looking to expand upon his 12-game hit streak. Also has 11 RBIs, 13 stolen bases, a 476 batting average, and an 1188 OPS. An unbelievable ball player that the Americans are really happy to have back in their lineup. And I am just receiving word that there is going to be a delay to start the game. Going to be some lightning passing through pretty early here. Should start around 4:25, but we will take a break for the weather delay. I've just received word that the delay is due to the umpires. We have an umpire delay. First pitch expected at 4:25. Welcome back to Americans Baseball right here on the Americans Baseball Network. It's Americans and Ironbacks here at George Taylor Field. The umpires have just arrived at the building. We had a delay. First pitch will be at 4:25. But before we get there, we will give you a look at the current PGCBL standings. Newark Pilots hanging on to first place. It's a close one, though. The Muck Dogs have ripped off a bunch of wins in a row to get closer. They are at 10-5. Doubledays fall to third place at 8-4-1. Pios holding on to that last playoff spot for the time being, but the Americans are knocking on the door in fifth. Tarpskunks in sixth at 7-7. Ironbacks and Red Wings still on the outside looking in, but hoping to turn their seasons around after a slow start in the early weeks here. And we now have the umpires, after a delay, meeting with our coaches on the field. Americans will be coached today by Will Cordero. The Ironbacks by Richard Griffin with the help of pitching coach Michael Nightingale. Paul Wolf, also a part of the Americans coaching staff. Cordero was the coach that traveled with the team today, so he will be taking the reins in this game as he has been over the last handful. And the Ironbacks now retaking the field. We'll have baseball in any moment now as the Americans and Ironbacks face off in the 5th edition of the Battle for the Falls this season. Americans have taken the first 4, but Ethan Wolf looking to get back on track against these Americans after a mixed bag of results a week ago in New York. Wolf a 15 ERA on the year. Comes from Three Rivers Community College. And he will be facing Grant Moore, the player of the week for the PGCBL West Division in week 1. So top of the first will be underway in just a moment here. We'll give you a refresher of this Niagara Falls Americans lineup. And leading off for the Americans, as I mentioned earlier, will be Grant Moore, the DH, coming back after a short absence over the last couple days. Evan Core in center field batting second. Gavin Boyle batting third, playing left. Harper, Delanto, Miller, Satinoff, Bowles, Ramos, and Jesmonti will finish things off as we have action here at George Taylor Field. Grant Moore stepping in. And Moore has led off almost every single game he's played. It was Ian Huang the first couple days as well as yesterday when Moore was out. But Grant Moore is the default leadoff hitter for this Americans team. He gets a piece of that one, but it's strike one. On the first pitch from Ethan Wolf, Grant Moore down 0-1 in the count. Next pitch is going to be fouled off down the third base line. It's 0-2. The Ironbacks looking for their first win against the Americans, also their first outside of a doubleheader. The 0-2 from Wolf will be sent on the fly ball into shallow left field. It'll drop foul. Couple guys were headed after that one, Granger and Briggs. And it looked for a moment like it might drop fair, but just to the left of the third base line. Grant Moore looking to keep his hit streak going. Had a hit in each of the first 12 games, sat out the last couple, but now back in the order. And it'll be a big boost for these Americans. The pitch outside for the ball. Grant Moore looking to climb back into this count after the 0-2 start. Moore comes from Ohio. And he's going to send that on the line drive down the third base line for a base hit. He's headed towards second. He's going to end up with extra bases here. The double by Grant Moore to start off the game for Niagara Falls. Grant Moore now a 13-game hit streak, and he'll look for steal number 14, as I would expect him here to take a lead from second to third. He is the steal leader on the Americans for a good while, the steal leader in the entire PGCBL. He's been competing with some players over in the East Division, but Evan Core batting second, and he takes the strike down the pike to start off this at bat. Evan Core, 379 hitter on the year, 974 OPS, another one of the big bats in this Americans lineup. Not quite to Moore's level, but he has been excellent. And he's going to send that on a liner into right field. This time, Alex Keene coming in to make the catch. So one down, and still Grant Moore on second to bring up Gavin Boyle. Gavin Boyle, it's been a lot of highs and lows in his early start to the season for the Americans. Has had 2 doubles and 3 RBIs, but also 4 strikeouts over his first 3 games of the 2025 season. It's his 3rd year in the PGCBL, spent 2023 with the Niagara Power, who became the Americans in 2024 and took in Gavin Boyle as their own. That's ball 1 in the dirt to him. Boyle looking to keep his strong start to the season going and avoid his 5th strikeout. The 1-0 is going to be sent down the first base line. That's going to be on the foul side. To even up the count, it's 1s across the board here at George Taylor. Second time the Americans are playing in Canada in their history. The Ironbacks, the first Canadian team in the PGCBL. And this is just the 2nd trip up to Canada that these Americans have made. Ironbacks have also played 3 games in Niagara Falls. That's going to be a dribbler softly hit. They'll say it dropped foul before rolling into the infield. So it's 1-2 to Gavin Boyle. Boyle spent his first 2 years of college at SUNY Niagara, now committed to play at Southern Indiana. 395 hitter and 8 bombs this spring for the World Series team, SUNY Niagara. That's a pop-up, headed into foul territory down the third baseline, and it is going to be caught by Brock Granger for out number 2. So Gavin Boyle goes down early here, and Dalton Harper, the catcher, will be the cleanup man for these Americans, looking to drive in Grant Moore from second. Harper up to 3 RBIs on the year. A lot of those have come recently. Second-year player for the Americans, just like Boyle. There's 3 of those in the Americans lineup today. You'll see Graydon Miller, who's batting 6th in the order, also a second-year American. The 1-0 count to Harper is Wolf checks on Moore at second base. It's another outside ball. Dalton Harper grew up with Matt Barr, who will be returning to this Americans team from the Combine very shortly. He will pitch on the 4th of July against the Muck Dogs. That'll be outside to make it 3-0. And speaking of the Muck Dogs, the Americans will host them tomorrow at Sal Magley in the next home game of the season. That should be an exciting one against a flaming hot Muck Dogs team. That's going to be in there for strike 1. Catches the outside part of the zone. And Dalton Harper will look to stay up in the count here after the first strike. That'll go way outside. Dalton Harper will walk, and Grant Moore headed into third base on the wild pitch. So it's runners on the corners for Paul Delanto, and this is not a guy you want to face with a lot of runners on. 242 batting average, but an 832 OPS, and he is the team leader in RBIs at 12. Had 2 of those last night against these Ironbacks. Also has a home run on the season, the grand slam against the Geneva Red Wings in that 20-3 Mercy Rule win That was their only mercy win until last night when they beat these Ironbacks 12-1. It's way inside, and that is ball one on Delanto. Delanto comes from Stony Brook. Did not see time there freshman year, but this should be a great building block for him to get in as a catcher, even a DH, for Stony Brook in his sophomore season. A 2-0 count to Delanto. His most recent statistics before the PGCBL were in high school, where he batted .450 with 7 bombs. The pitch will go outside. It's now 3-0. Ethan Wolf has thrown 7 balls in the last 8 pitches. He walked Harper. Now looking to avoid the walk against Delanto, which would load the bases. That'll be upstairs. It's ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Paul Delanto, and the Americans have the bases juiced for Graydon Miller, that third returnee in this Americans lineup. Batting .258 with a .715 OPS. He has 8 RBIs. And a week ago today against these Ironbacks, the last Saturday game between these teams, he went 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a double, his first of the season. That'll get in there for strike 1 on the outside part of the zone. This is a big moment for Graydon Miller. Bases are full, but at the same time, it's 2 down, so can't afford any mistakes here. Already down 0-1 in the count. That'll go just outside to even it up. Graydon Miller looking to continue what's been a pretty strong stretch for him over the last few starts at first base. Swing and a miss. He's down 1-2 now. Wolf has led this battle for most of the at-bat. Looking to finish the job and leave this inning unscathed despite giving up the hit. As well as 2 walks. He's walked back-to-back batters, and that's going to be a ground ball headed towards Medor at short. The throw to first will be in time for out number 3. The Americans load the bases but leave them stranded. We'll head to the bottom of the first and give you the Ironbacks lineup. We'll be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the bottom of the first inning here at George Taylor Field. We are still scoreless, and we will give you the Ironbacks lineup. Leading off at shortstop will be Devin Medor filling in for Carter Shin. Brock Granger playing third, batting second. Marcus Butts, the DH, stepping in after a night off. Alex Keene in right field, batting cleanup. Connor Gayton's catching for the second consecutive game. He'll bat fifth. Chase Hubble batting sixth, playing center. Bryce Bedrosian moves over to first, bats seventh. Grayson Briggs in left field will bat eighth. And Kakaru Tsukamoto will round out the lineup playing second. This is only a 9-batter lineup today for the Ironbacks. Unusual here in the PGCBL, but Ironbacks looking to give some of their bats some extra rest here on this Saturday afternoon. And they will be facing a first-time starting pitcher for the Americans, Jake Rocher. Has had some work out of the pen in bulk. He's 1-0 with a 1.93 ERA and 6 strikeouts. That win came in Jamestown when he pitched 3 2/3 innings in relief of Robert Leach. Rocher comes from Mount St. Mary's, one of 3 Mountaineers on this Americans roster. The other 2 are transferring, but Rocher will hang around on the team. And he will face Devin Medor to start off this inning. Medor will be followed by Brock Granger and Marcus Butts. Medor batting .276 on the year, a 3-hit game on Thursday against the Muck Dogs. Not quite the same results last night against these Americans. Takes ball 1 from Rocher on the first pitch. Rocher spoke to him before the game started off, and he mentioned how he is more comfortable as a starter than he even is as a reliever, and he's given up just 1 run the entire season out of the pen. So it'll be 2-1 now to the batter Medor. Comes from SUNY Niagara, so a lot of Americans, teammates back at college. And that is going to be popped foul to even up the count 2-2. Devin Medor faced off yesterday against one of the pitchers back from his school in Keegan Bazinet. Had a 7-inning complete game for the Americans in a mercy rule victory, and that is fouled off to the right side. It'll drop out of play. So 2 balls, 2 strikes here from Rocher to Medor. Medor playing short today instead of Carter Shin, and also in that leadoff spot that Shin was in yesterday. Swing and a miss, and down goes Devin Medor. Jake Rocher, 1 batter faced, 1 strikeout. That'll be punch out number 7 of the year for Rocher. Those other 6 coming out of the pen. And now it's Brock Granger up next for the Ironbacks. 280 hitter, 795 OPS. And another guy familiar with a lot of these Americans. Plays at Panola College. 5 teammates back from school are on the Americans this summer. It's a foul ball down the first base line for strike 1 by Granger. Granger also played for the same travel team as our Americans intern Teddy Yo, the Toronto Mets. A few years behind him in the program, but he did well there and hoping to keep his strong start going here, but he's down 0-2 in the count to Rocher. Rocher looking to strike out his 2nd consecutive batter. Can he do it? Not yet. Ball 1, low near the dirt. Dalton Harper, the catcher for the Americans tonight, has mixed in at the position, primarily with Nick Pass. You've seen the occasional Paul Delanto and Ethan Madison there as well. That is on the comebacker to Jake Rocher. It's bobbled, but sent to first in time for out number 2. So Jake Rocher, that came on a heater right back to him. He was a little shocked by the speed, but able to pick it up right in front of him and send it to Miller at first. Now he'll face Marcus Butts, hoping to send the Ironbacks down 1-2-3 in this first inning. First pitch will be dropping low for ball 1. Butts comes from Mary University, a big crop of Mary players on this Ironbacks roster. 2-0 count in the favor of Butts. Back in the lineup after a night off. We'll take the strike on the inside part of the plate. Has not swung yet in this at-bat. Showing a lot of patience. It's paid off so far. Gives him the 2-1 advantage in the count. And that'll get in there on the outside corner for strike 2. It's 2s across the board. Jake Rocher looking to finish off the Ironbacks right here in the first inning. Here's the pitch. That's going to be lined up the middle into center field, and making the catch is Evan Core for out number 3. Ironbacks go down 1-2-3. We'll head to the top of the second after these messages. Ever dreamed of playing catch right here at Sal Magley Stadium? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field. Top of the second inning here on the Americans Baseball Network, and this second inning is brought to you by Bully Hill Vineyards, a great place to grab lunch and taste over 40 different wines. Go to bullyhillvineyards.com for more. So the Ironbacks gave up a hit in this top of the first. The Americans loaded up the bases, but Niagara got out of the inning. Ethan Wolf still going strong here. And in this inning, he will face the 7-8-9 in the Americans lineup. Jack Satinoff, Brady Bowles, and Alan Ramos. All infielders today. Satinoff at second, Bowles at third, Ramos at short. Will Cordero has tended to bat his infielders closer to the bottom of the order, the outfielders towards the top, but makes a lot of sense as these outfielders have really been leading the charge offensively, whether it be Evan Core, Grant Moore, Gavin Boyle. The catching unit has also been good on offense between Harper, Delanto, Past. But right now it's Satinoff up to bat. The lefty comes from Trevecca Nazarene University in Tennessee. That'll get in there on the outside part of the zone for strike one. Satinoff, 458 OPS, looking to build on that after an up and down start to his American season. He doubled in his first Americans game, so hoping to find that power again. It was an absolute bullet down the right field line, but right now, swing and a miss for strike three. Jack Satinoff sent down for the first out of the inning here in the top of the second. Brady Bowles batting next, playing third for the second consecutive night. Hails from Panola College. He's been splitting time at the position of late with Shane Prey. Both of them are right-handed hitters, though. Ball one on the inside and low to Bowles. 855 OPS on the year, and a lot of that is driven from his high on-base percentage. Among the team leaders here in walks, but it's ones across the board to him right now. That'll go far outside, gets past Gatens, but bases are empty, so no further damage than ball two. Grant Moore leading the Americans in walks, but Brady Bowles not too far behind. The 2-1 will go inside this time around. Wolf with a bit of an over-adjustment as Bowles is up 3-1 in the count. Looking to walk once more, increase that on-base percentage. It's already right around 500 headed in. And that'll get in there for strike two on the inside part of the zone. Bowles thought he had a walk. Ump says no. Brady Bowles, 8 walks on the year. Looking for number 9 with the full count. Here's the payoff pitch. And it's sent foul down the first base line. Bowles behind just Paul Delanto, Derek Jesmondi, and Grant Moore on the team in base on balls. Still a full count to him here. That'll go inside. Now there's ball 4. Bowles has to wait, but he will indeed get his 9th walk of the season. Alan Ramos up next. The Wagner commit. His high school over in the Bronx has seen 9 players get drafted into Major League Baseball. Ramos, an excellent defender, and looking to get things going on offense. It was a bit of a slow start for him, but he's had a couple of knocks over his last few starts. Has started to settle in the rotation at short with Chris Gazaldo as Brady Bowles will take off, but it's a foul ball on the pop-up. Ones across the board with Brady Bowles on first base. Brady Bowles last night had a 2-run triple against these Ironbacks. Already on base for the first time today. His batting average actually below 200, but it hasn't mattered. He finds ways to get on. The 1-1 goes in the dirt and gets away from Gatens. Brady Bowles will take second on the wild pitch. Brady Bowles on second base, and it's now 2 balls and 1 strike to Ramos at the plate. Ramos, 125 hitter, looking to build on that. Swing and a miss will even up the count. Actually played third base his first couple games here as an American, but him and Brady Bowles essentially switched spots after a week or so into the season, and it has paid dividends. That's going to be sent into left field for the base hit. Alan Ramos is heating up at the plate. Brady Bowles trying to come around and score. It'll be close, but he'll get in. The Americans lead 1-0. Alan Ramos with the RBI single. And Derek Gismondi will round out this Americans order with just 1 down, and now the Americans with a 1-0 lead and 2 hits on the day. Ramos has quietly strung together a 3-game hit streak after he went 0 for his first 9 over the first 3 starts of his season. And it's 1-0 to Gismondi, another frequent flyer in the walk department. And he will send that down the third base line. It's going to drop foul. One's across the board. Gismondi showing some patience there on the inside, ball 2. Also a speedster on the bases, the second leader in steals on this team, and it's going to be ball 3. The throw to first base gets away from Bryce Bedrosian. Ramos coming all the way to third. And he will hold there per Cordero's stop sign, but he will get 2 bases on an errant throw. Correction, after last night, Derek Gismondi third in steals behind Evan Core. But a meeting on the mound with Wolf as Alan Ramos is on third. Would be run number 2 for the Americans if he comes in to score. Gismondi also has 3 balls in the count, and it would be walk number 11 on the season for him. Second on the team in that metric. But after the meeting with Richard Griffin, Ethan Wolf will stay on the bump to face Gismondi. Gismondi's up 3-1 in the count with 1 down. A walk would make it runners on the corners. Ramos heading over to third on that throw from Gatens, and that's a line drive into center field. It hooks, but Hubble reads it right, makes the catch for out number 2. Alan Ramos coming in to score, so it'll go down as a sac fly. Nonetheless, it's 2 down for these Americans. So beneficial for both teams in a way. The Americans get their second run, but the Ironbacks get their second out in the inning. The bases are now empty as Grant Moore will come up for the second time today. Led off the game with a double. And improved on his hit streak. That's a fly ball into center field, and Hubble going to be there for the catch once again. Chase Hubble's been busy out there, but the Americans score 2 to take the lead. We'll be right back with the bottom of the inning.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Bottom of the second inning right here on the Americans Baseball Network. And fans, this season you can get the latest Americans gear, hats, t-shirts, baseballs, sweatshirts, and much, much more. Stop by the merchandise stand, by concessions at every home game. Americans will be back home tomorrow against the Muck Dogs. First pitch will be at 4 p.m. Come to the ballpark or tune in right here on the Americans Baseball Network. But Jake Rocher started the game retiring consecutive batters. And now it'll be Alex Keene, Connor Gatens, and Chase Hubble, the 4-5-6 of the Ironbacks lineup in this bottom of the second to face Rocher. Alex Keene comes from Moorhead State, originally a Woodstock, Ontario native. And the first pitch from Rocher is driven into right center field, and it'll be caught by Evan Core, who comes in from center to make the catch. Looked like there was a chance that would drop in the gap, but Evan Core had plenty of time to get a read on it. Comes in for out number one, and Jake Rocher making quick work here. 4 consecutive batters retired, looking to keep that going with Connor Gatens, the catcher, coming up to bat. It's an outside ball, 1 first. Rocher pitched 3 2/3 innings scoreless against the Tarp Skunks the last time he appeared. 2-0 now to Gatens. Gatens 294 with a 721 OPS. And it's fouled off for strike 1. Two and one. Rocher looking to get back in this count against Gatens. And bit of a check swing, but not even close to coming around. 3-1 to Gatens. Jake Rocher looking to avoid his first walk of the day, but it's going to be a chopper foul for strike 2. Count is now full. Jake Rocher has been in this spot before and come up clutch. We'll see if he can do it here against Gatens. The pitch is lined down the third base line on a rocket foul. Drops into the Americans' bullpen, where a few arms are waiting. CJ Hurley, Joe Chaya expected to come in for Rocher at some point today. The 3-2 is going to walk Connor Gatens on ball 4.
Now batting, center fielder, number 27, Chase Hubble.
And Chase Hubble will bat next. And it's Chase Hubble up next. 1 ball in the count to him, as Jake Rocher has led his first base runner on after 4 consecutive batters retired to start off the game. Another outside pitch makes it 2-0. Chase Hubble, 333 hitter, 804 OPS. Initially from Welland, Ontario. So very local to George Taylor Field. And Jake Rocher looking to avoid the 4-pitch walk. He'll have a meeting with Dalton Harper on the mound. So Rocher looking to talk things over, get back in this count. Harper conferencing with him, seeing what he needs to do to find the strike zone here against Chase Hubble while still avoiding any hard contact by the batter. We'll see what Rocher throws here. with the 3-0 count. He sets, now delivers. And that is the fastball right down the pike, drops a bit for strike one. Appeared to be a sinker on that one. And that'll get in there for strike two, similar spot. And Chase Hubble thought he had a walk, but no. This umpire has really gotten on these hitters for jumping the gun, but it's a swing and miss. And just like that, Brady Bowles got his walk after thinking he had ball four, but Chase Hubble, on the other hand, will strike out. Bryce Bedrosian up next. The first baseman today has also played a lot of third for these Ironbacks. And he'll send it down the first base line right to Graydon Miller for out number 3. Americans let one on base, but still a very quick inning for Jake Rocher. We'll be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back here at George Taylor Field for the third inning of action. Americans lead 2-0, and this third inning here on the Americans Baseball Network is sponsored by Greater Niagara Federal Credit Union, Geico of Buffalo, Sammy's Pizza, and McDonald's. At every home game, if the Americans score 3 runs, you can get a free McCafe Frappe by coming to the game. McDonald's also coming back with their snack wrap in the United States on July 10th. I'm personally very excited for that one as a snack wrap lover. But the Americans up 2-0, looking to build on their lead. They'll have Evan Core, Gavin Boyle, and Dalton Harper due up. Evan Core up for the second time today. 0 for 1. Was unable to advance Grant Moore after the leadoff double in the first inning, and it's strike one to Core on his second at-bat of the day. Redshirt sophomore at SUNY Niagara, did not play the 2025 season, but some good numbers over there in 2024, 357 with a 900 OPS, and it's carried over to the PGCBL. Down 0-2 in the count, though. Takes the ball right at his face to stay alive in this at-bat. The pitch will go low to make it 2-2. Evan Core was down 0-2 early. He's been battling here. And he's going to line that down the third base line. It'll drop foul, but Core certainly showing off his power. A 9-game hit streak that he'll look to expand on here. And in those 9 hits, or 9-game hit streak rather, he has had 2 for extra bases, both doubles. A fly ball into center field that is going to be there for Hubble to make the catch. Out number 1 is a fly out to center for Core. Gavin Boyle up next. And he is also 0 for 1 to start the day. And he's had high highs and low lows in his return to the Americans this week. That is fouled off right towards the press box for strike one. Boyle has had 4 strikeouts in 3 games, but also a pair of RBI doubles that both nearly left the park at Sal Magley. To opposite fields as well, and that is going to be into right field on the line drive, but cut off by Tsukamoto for out number 2. Gavin Boyle still looking for his first hit of the day. Dalton Harper has walked once, but still looking for hit number 1 as well with 2 down. Harper, the 3rd consecutive SUNY Niagara hitter in this order. And that'll go behind his head for ball 1. Ironbacks thankful the bases are empty. That would have easily allowed some runners to advance, but some good defense for the first 2 outs on Core and Boyle. And that is low and away to make it 2-0. Harper already walked once. Could he walk again? That'll be fouled right into the fence behind home plate. It's 2-1. But Harper still ahead in this count. Batted .269 with a .765 OPS, 17 RBIs in his first year as an American. Already 3 RBIs this season, as the count is even at 2. It's 2s across the board, and Dalton Harper going to stay alive here and avoid the strikeout. The rising sophomore at SUNY Niagara. Played for these Americans before he even started his freshman year there. And it's going to be popped up. Foul territory. Harper continuing to foul off pitches and stay alive in the at-bat. Making some good contact. Just looking to see it go fair for the first time today. I mean, the patience paid off the first time around for Harper. Ended up getting to second base after back-to-back walks by Wolf of Harper and Delanto. Delanto back on deck now. The 2-2 pitch will hit Dalton Harper on the back of his shoulder. So he will take first base, and Paul Delanto will have Harper on first for the 2nd consecutive time up. Neither of them have come on a hit. Harper walked and hit by Ethan Wolf. Wolf has given up 4 free bags total, 3 walks, and now hitting Harper. Paul Delanto was one of those walks on his first time up. It's a pop-up headed behind home plate. It'll go out of play, foul, dropping in the bleachers. So that puts a strike on the count for Delanto. Delanto, a little bit of a slump earlier this week, but snapped out of it yesterday. 2 more RBIs to tack on to his total of 12 on the season. The 0-1, swing and a miss. And Wolf 1 strike away from getting out of this 3rd inning without any further damage. He's given up 2 runs to these Americans, but this game's still well within reach for the Ironbacks. The pitch is going to be popped foul again. Delanto, always going to be a good at bat. Not going to go down easy. Was swinging for the fences after his grand slam, but has always shown some patience and shown some ability to extend at bats. That's another pop foul. And the 0-2 count is a little deceiving. It's been a 4-pitch at bat already. Delanto ready for number 5. Wolf looking for a second scoreless frame in 3 innings pitched. And that'll be popped up this time ahead of him in fair territory. And coming over from shortstop is Devin Medor to make the catch. Americans go down, strand a runner on first. We'll be right back with the bottom of the third as the Ironbacks look to climb back and potentially reclaim the lead. We'll be right back.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Back for the bottom of the third, and fans, did you know that American season tickets are just $99? Could be a part of the fun this summer at Sal Magley Stadium. Stop by the concession stands and pick up your season tickets today to be a part of this historic season in Niagara Falls. So the Americans leading 2-0 heading into this bottom of the third. Jake Brocher still pitching after consecutive scoreless frames. And due up for the Ironbacks will be Briggs, Tsukamoto, and then back to the top with Devin Medor. Grayson Briggs back in the lineup after a day off last night. 190 hitters, 547 OPS, and he has a 1-0 count here against Rocher. Briggs has a brother over on the Scarborough Stingers. He played for the Ontario Prospects as a travel team, but up 2-0. And what's been a pretty strong start for him with these Ironbacks, a great defensive left fielder, and he lines it down the first base line for a base hit. Grayson Briggs gets on base. It's the first hit for the Ironbacks today. And next up, it'll be Kakeru Tsukamoto. It's the first time the Americans have seen him all season. Attends college in Japan, Hosei University. His favorite MLB player, the Red Sox Japanese standout Masataka Yoshida. Love to see that as a Red Sox fan, but the pickoff attempt at first base on Briggs is unsuccessful as Tsukamoto is up in the count. He fouls it off. And rather, it's 0-1. Those balls carrying over from the last at bat. So Tsukamoto down a strike here. Pitch from Rocher, swing and a miss. Tsukamoto still looking for his first Ironback hit. Hasn't had a ton of opportunities, just a handful of at-bats here so far for them. Did have the first home run in all of baseball after COVID in 2020. Briggs has a lead at first. Tsukamoto takes the pitch outside for the ball. The pickoff attempt at first is unsuccessful. Briggs hurrying back. Harper attempting to gun him out, but Briggs, a speedster, very hard to catch stealing. The pop-up will head into the middle infield, and Ramos says he's got it. He makes the catch for out number 1. Alan Ramos has been excellent at shortstop all year long. And Devin Medor, the Ironbacks' own shortstop, for today will bat next. The leadoff hitter up with one on and one away, facing Jake Rocher for the second time. He's 0 for 1. Was one of those first 4 consecutive batters retired. He will take strike 1. A little bit of a motion towards the swing, but that'll be a strike called anyways, even though the swing was not full. That'll be a similar spot, low outside part of the plate for strike 2. Mador on the breaking ball from Rocher did not bite. And pick off at first base. No good again. Rocher continuing to check on Briggs. First against Tsukamoto, now against Mador, and Briggs takes off. The throw gets away, but Briggs will hold on to second base. He picks up the steal on what will be called strike 3 on Devin Mador. So Grayson Briggs, with the confidence to take off despite the strike call, will reach second base, and it's 2 down with the runner in scoring position for the Ironbacks. Brock Granger also 0 for 1 on the day, as Briggs lead towards third now. Ball goes outside to Granger. 272 hitter over at Panola with a 797 OPS. Almost a direct translation to his PGCBL stats thus far. It's a foul ball to make it 1-1. Also had 2 homers and 24 RBIs back at school. Granger can play all over the place. He's played first, now playing third base for these Ironbacks. Takes the 1-1 in the low inside corner. Count is back in his favor. Brock Granger. The Toronto Mets alum with the 2-1 count. And that goes behind him and grazes him on the back. It's going to be first and second. Jake Rocher giving up another free bag here in the third inning of work. Rocher has walked 1 and hit 1. Also given up a hit. So he's let 3 base runners on in 3 different ways. We'll see if Marcus Butts can be base runner number 4 of the day. He'll ground it to Ramos. The throw to second, Satinoff will cover for out number 3. Ironbacks get a couple runners on, but not going to lead to anything here. Americans still lead 2-0 in what's pretty much been a pitcher's duel. We'll be right back. Ever dreamed of playing catch right here at Sal Magley Stadium? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field. Back for the 4th inning here on the Americans Baseball Network, and this inning is sponsored by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 237, by Johnny Ryan, and by Coca-Cola. And every Americans home game, you can get all your Coke favorites at concessions. So Graydon Miller, Jack Satinoff, and Brady Bowles will be up to face Ethan Wolf in this inning, as that's a pop foul. Went right over the press box. Right by my eyes as well. Graydon Miller, 0 for 1 today. Check swing, they'll say he went on strike 2. Miller has had mixed results this season, a couple of huge games. A 2-hit game against these Ironbacks a week ago, but also some hitless nights in between. 1-2 to Miller. Has consistently, though, been excellent at first base. The primary first baseman for this team. Will take ball 2. Drops in the dirt after hitting Gatens' mitt low. Count is now even. Graydon Miller looking to climb out of this 0-2 hole against the Ironbacks. Pitch from Wolf will go inside at the feet of Graydon Miller. And the count is now full. Graydon Miller has seen 3 consecutive balls from Ethan Wolf after the first 2 strikes, and will send it on the line drive into left field. Grayson Briggs will lean over and make the grab. Briggs been very solid out in left field, and Miller now 0 for 2 today. Jack Satinoff struck out his first time up. It was a swinging strikeout. Comes all the way from Tennessee, one of 2 from Trevecca Nazarene on this Americans team. He's here alongside Ethan Madison. Not on the lineup today, but nonetheless, they roomed together at Niagara University this summer after coming from Tennessee together. The 0-1 will be sent foul by Satinoff. The 0-2 count on him now. In high school, played a mix of second, short, and outfield. He's at second today. Swing and a miss. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. Strikeout for Jack Satinoff. Satinoff, the only American to strike out today, and it's happened twice. Ethan Wolf getting strikeouts number 2 and 3 of his season, both against Satinoff, and Brady Bowles looking to avoid the 1-2-3 inning. Up with 2 outs. That'll be in there on the curve for ball 1. Pitch from Wolf will drop in the dirt. And Brady Bowles, one of 5 Panola players on this Americans roster, the only one starting today. A line drive into right field for the base hit. Brady Bowles keeps this inning alive with the 3rd hit of the day for Niagara Falls. Alan Ramos up next. He already has a hit on the day. And that hit drove in Brady Bowles last time after he walked his first time up, took second base, came around to score. Thanks to Ramos. Ramos, the chopper, will drop fair. And it'll be in time for out number 3 at first base. Brady Bowles gets on, but the Americans going down quickly here in the 4th inning. We'll send it to the bottom of the inning as the Ironbacks look to cut into this 2-run lead. We'll be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the bottom of the fourth, and this season you can connect with the Americans like never before on our social media platforms. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Thank you to our social media managers, Frankie Morris and Leah Fraun. And up to bat for these Ironbacks. In this inning, it'll be Alex Keene, Connor Gatens, and Chase Hubble. Alex Keene on the day is 0 for 1. Jake Rocher has had much success against the top of this Ironbacks order so far today. Entering his fourth inning of work, and sends it low and inside for ball 1 on Keene. Alex Keene in right field has played a mix of right and first base, and that'll be lined down the first base line to even up the count at 1. Jake Rocher, 3 scoreless innings, looking for number 4. But it'll start with a base hit by Alex Keene, dropping in right field. Keene on for his first hit of the day. It's the second by the Ironbacks on their day altogether. That first one was by Grayson Briggs, and now Keene adding to the party as Connor Gatens comes up next. 294 batting average, walked his first time up today, and has worked with Ethan Wolf behind the dish in today's game. Ball 1 inside to him. Keene on first now. Bit of a lead for him. Rocher looking back now, tries for the pickoff attempt. He's thrown a lot of them today. Been the biggest thing holding him up. He's a very quick worker on the mound. And that's going to be a grounder sent to Ramos at short. Out at second. Will be in time for the double play. Yes, it will. And 2 sent down for the Ironbacks, as the Americans are suddenly 1 out away from getting out of this inning. Chase Hubble, the final hitter, due up in this inning with 2 down and nobody on. Comes from Bismarck State. Him and Bryce Bedrosian both come from there, and they're batting back-to-back in the order. 1-0 on the outside ball from Rocher. Chase Hubble, 0 for 1 today with a strikeout swinging. Thought he had a walk on that first time up, but umpire said no on the 3-1 pitch, and then eventually swung and missed on strike 3 to go down. But right now, it's 3 consecutive balls in. We'll see if Rocher can recover again in this count. Possibly strike out Hubble for the second time, or will it be a walk the second time around? Strike 1 on the outside corner. Hubble has not swung yet in this at-bat. And it'll pay off. He takes ball 4 a little further outside from Rocher. Ironbacks have their second base runner of the inning. Unfortunate that the first one was a victim of the double play. But Bryce Bedrosian up next. The first baseman 0 for 1 today. The second consecutive Bismarck State product, but unlike Hubble batting from the left side. There's a pop-up sent right back into the infield. Brady Bowles coming in to make the grab from third base. Ironbacks with 4 batters up, unable to score a run in this 4th inning. We'll head to the 5th. The Americans hold on to a 2-0 lead.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
back here at George Taylor Field as the Americans come up to bat in the 5th inning. This 5th inning brought to you by Tropical Heating and Cooling. Call 716-870-0753 for expert service. And Derek Jesmondi will be followed by Grant Moore and Evan Core here in the 5th. That'll be popped up behind home plate. It'll drop out of play, foul for strike 1. Jesmondi, his first time up to bat, had a sac fly. Takes the ball outside, and Jesmondi has been on base a lot. He's had 10 walks this season, but 1 for his first 17 at bats. And takes another strike here. Jesmondi has struck out 8 times. Ethan Wolf still going strong, and it goes outside to even things up. Wolf has had an excellent day, just those 2 earned runs in the 2nd inning. And that'll be sent into the outfield, gets past the shortstop Mador. It's a base hit for Derek Jesmondi, his 2nd hit of the season. And that'll bring Grant Moore up with a runner on. Good situation for him. He led off the game with a double. Looking to advance the runner for the first time today. And Jesmondi has a lead at first. Check that, only 1 run earned for Ethan Wolf today. The other came unearned. It's 0-1 to Graham Moore. And that'll drop low, it appears, to make it 1-1. Grant Moore at Mount Vernon Nazarene University, an NAIA school. He has dominated there and so far dominated here. That'll hit Grant Moore on the back. And Grant Moore taking first base for the 2nd time today. I mean, got all the way to 2nd his first time he got on, but nonetheless, it's 2 base runners for the Americans with Evan Core up to bat. Core 0 for 2, looking to keep his 9-game hit streak going. He's saved his hit streak late in games at times. But this one will be a pop-up into the shallow outfield, and the catch will be made by the first baseman, Bryce Bedrosian. The throw to third is not going to be in time. So Jesmondi sliding into third. It opens up second base for Grant Moore. And it's 1 down for these Americans with Gavin Boyle up to bat. Boyle will have runners on the corners. Grant Moore. Oh, they are going to overturn the call at third base. Derek Jesmondi is out. It goes in as a double play. Oh, my goodness. So the only runner now is Grant Moore at first. Gavin Boyle, much less of an RBI chance now. Looking for his 4th on the season. He's 0 for 2. Grant Moore could get into scoring position nonetheless, looking for his 14th steal of the year. Had 4 steals the last time here at George Taylor Field. And Moore will take off on the ball. Will he be there in time? Yes, he will. He's safe at 2nd. Grant Moore, 14 steals. A nice throw by Gatens, but not in time. And Gavin Boyle, just like that, has a new runner in scoring position. Looking for his first knock of the day. He's performed much better at home than on the road thus far. But he'll send that down the first base line. It goes foul. Gavin Boyle with the count even. Going to Southern Indiana in the fall. We'll pop it up. It'll go into the shallow outfield, and now the outfielder's coming in. It'll be Devin Medore to make the catch for out number 3. Grant Moore will be stranded on second. Americans still lead 2-0 headed into the bottom of the 5th. We'll be right back. Ever dreamed of playing catch right here at Sal Magley Stadium? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field. Back for the bottom of the 5th inning. Grayson Briggs will kick things off here for the Ironbacks against the still pitching Jake Rocher. It's officially his longest outing as an American. Maxed out at 3 2/3 against the Tarp Skunks. That was out of the pen, but it's ball 1 to Grayson Briggs. Americans had a call overturned. The runner on third in Gismondi ended up being called out. And then Grant Moore unable to make it home as Gavin Boyle popped out. And the 1-1 to Briggs will go outside. Puts the count in his favor. Dalton Harper will be up for the Americans when they come back up in the 6th. Pitch from Rocher will be sent down the first base line. This one Miller will cut off and make the tag for out number 1. Fans, do you or someone you know have a birthday coming up? Why not spend it with the Americans? Packages start at just $175, include 10 tickets, 2 large pizzas from Sammy's, customized Wegmans cake, 10 drinks, autographed Americans baseballs, and special recognition at the game. Sponsored by Wegmans and Sammy's Pizza. Go to the Americans website to sign up. So following up, Grayson Briggs will be Tsukamoto, and on the close call, he will be out at first base. It's 2 down. Kakaru Tsukamoto, rather, retired on the 2nd consecutive ground out. And it's Devin Medore back to the top of the order for these Ironbacks. 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Jake Rocher has struck out 3 total on the day, and 2 of those have been against Medore. This team knows how to face him. I mean, a lot of SUNY Niagara players, they've played with Medore. They know his game left and right. And Rocher has learned from his fellow Americans pitchers. It's 2 strikes to him already. Jake Rocher 1 strike away from striking out Medore for the 3rd consecutive time. But instead it'll be an outside low ball 1. Strike 3 going to have to, at the very least, wait. As Medore hasn't seen Rocher before. Rocher's certainly seen Medora over from the dugout. Swing and a miss. Devin Medora, his third strikeout of the day. Jake Rocher has 4. We'll send it to the 6th inning after the break. Americans lead 2-0.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the 6th inning from the Canadian side of Niagara Falls. It's the Americans and Ironbacks. The battle for the Falls still in the Americans' favor here. They're up 2-0 in the game, and this 6th inning is brought to you by Niagara County Legislator Chris Robins, Laborers Local 91, and Wegmans. Dalton Harper going to kick things off for the Americans in this inning as Ethan Wolf is still going for these Ironbacks. It's ball 1 to Harper. Ethan Wolf, one of his longest outings of the season. It's 1-1 to Harper. Harper will be followed up by Paul Delanto and Graydon Miller. It's the 4-5-6 of the Americans' order. A low outside ball to him. Harper. SUNY Niagara product swings and misses. Count is now even. Actually went to a MLB tryout. He came with Matt Barr to his Angels tryout back towards the start of the season. The 2-2 will go way inside and it'll hit him. Dalton Harper getting on base for the 3rd time today. He's been hit twice and walked once. He is really taking a beating out there. Paul Delanto will follow him up. 0 for 1 with a walk. Wolf has given up a total of 5 free bags to these Americans. 3 have been to Harper. And another far inside pitch to make it ball 1 to Delanto with 1 on and nobody out. Walked Harper and Delanto back to back the first time through the order. I've loaded the bases with more on 3rd, but nothing came of it for these Americans. Nonetheless, they're up 2-0 after they scored a couple the very next inning. And here is the 1-1 from Wolf. Big cut and miss by Delanto. Certainly swinging for the fences here, but will he be able to make contact before strike 3 comes? The extra hitter in this order today. We'll send it up the middle. It'll drop for the base hit. Paul Delanto has his first of the day. It's bobbled by Chase Hubble, but the runners will hold at 1st and 2nd. Hit number 5 on the day for Niagara Falls. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Americans. 0, 2, and 1 for the Ironbacks. And meeting on the mound with Ethan Wolf. Richard Griffin coming out. Appears Wolf's day could be over. It's going to be a new pitcher for the Ironbacks. We'll get you word on who it is in just a moment. But Ethan Wolf goes 5 innings plus for the Ironbacks. An excellent day. Just 1 earned run. His best outing of the season. To make this a very enticing pitcher's duel between the Americans and Ironbacks. This battle for the Falls is as good as it's gotten here at George Taylor Field on this nice Saturday afternoon. It'll be Jaden Corpin coming in for Wolf. Corpin actually made a start against these Americans back in the first matchup between the teams, but he has transitioned to the bullpen. A 5 ERA, 4 strikeouts. Comes from Erie Community College, where he made 12 appearances. Just 2 of them were starts, so much more in his comfort zone as a part of this Ironbacks pen. They experimented with a lot of different starting pitchers in the early going. Really settled in on Ethan Wolf, Hunter Ballantyne, Derek Reesberry, and Ethan Catney Forbes as their primary starting pitchers. Catney Forbes started yesterday against these Americans, and Wolf got the start today. A couple of Ethans in their rotation. But it's runners on first and second with nobody out as Corpin comes in. Not an easy situation for him to step into. And he'll face the second-year Americans vet, Graydon Miller, in his first batter faced. Miller 0 for 2 on his day. Looking for hit number 1 with 2 ducks on the pond for these Americans. Comes from Drury University. And he'll take a ball in the dirt. Runners go. It's a wild pitch out of the gate. Rather, it'll be ruled a pass ball for Connor Gatens, but it's now 2 runners in scoring position for Graydon Miller. The last time he had runners on second and third, big things happened. We'll see if he can cash in for a couple ribbies right here. He's had 8 on the year. And he is going to send that on a fly ball in the deep left field. Here's Briggs going to be able to make the catch, but tagging up for home is Dalton Harper. It'll go down as a sac fly for Miller. So despite the out, Graydon Miller recording RBI number 9 on the season. The Americans lead 3-0. Jack Satinoff up next with Paul Delanto still on second base. Satinoff, 167 hitter headed into the game, is 0 for 2 with a pair of swinging strikeouts. Him and Devin Medor have just kept striking out for their respective teams. Corpin checks on Delanto at second, now delivers outside for ball 1. 1 down and a runner on second for these Americans. Delanto now the only base runner after Harper tagged up to score on the deep fly ball by Graydon Miller. The 1-0 will also go outside. Count is getting well into Satinoff's favor. Love to see it after 2 early strikeouts for him. The pitch will be sent foul down into the third baseline bleachers. It's 2-1 with 1 down. Jake Rocher has pitched 5 scoreless innings. Already had a 1.93 ERA coming into this game, and he has dazzled today. Really proving his place in this starting rotation. But it's strike 2 on Jack Satinoff. Rocher making his first start of the year, but already clear that might have been a decision the Americans should have considered earlier to put him in that rotation. Full count with 1 down as Satinoff looks to get on or at least make contact for the first time today in fair territory. The payoff pitch is roped down into right field foul territory. A hard hit ball, but just a little early on the timing from Satinoff. A little later on that, he could have had his second double of the year. Satinoff still with the full count. Will swing and miss. That's his third strikeout of the day. And him and Medora have each struck out 3 times, looking to avoid golden sombreros for their respective teams, but it's Brady Bowles up next. And Brady Bowles is 1 for 1 on the day with a walk, so he's reached base on both of his times up, as Gatens will come in to meet with Corpin. Brady Bowles has really had a hot last couple of days for these Americans. He has torn up the Ironbacks. 2-run triple last night, a multi-hit game. Or rather, multiple RBIs. But now comes into this game 1 for 1. Already came around to score once. And fouls it off for strike 1. Top of the 6th inning. Americans have already scored 1 in this frame. Delanto on second, looking to make his way home. It's 1-1 to even up the count on Brady Bowles. And Bowles now tied with Jack Satinoff in the name compliment competition at road stadiums. The fly ball into right field will be caught for out number 3. The Americans leave Delanto on second, but score 1. It's 3-0 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. We'll be right back. Ever dreamed of playing catch right here at Sal Magley Stadium? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field. Back for the bottom of the 6th inning, Joe Chaya coming in for Jake Rocher after 5 scoreless frames. Joe Chaya, the lefty out of the Americans bullpen, is 0-0 on the year, but a 5.06 ERA, 8 strikeouts. A little bit of a rocky start to his season, but has really turned it around of late. A master at painting the corners. And he'll see Brock Granger first in this bottom of the 6th. Americans will have Alan Ramos up first when they come back in the 7th inning. Jaden Corbin just relieved Ethan Wolf, so both starters now out of the game as it's strike one on, look at that, low outside corner by Joe Chaya. This is what he does, finds that exact ledge of the strike zone, and he's gotten 2 strikes early in the count here against Brock Granger. Joe Chaya looking for strikeout number 9 of his season. But instead, it's a line drive caught by Brady Bowles at third. The line out by Granger for Joe Chaya's first out of the day. Quick game here at George Taylor. First pitch was delayed to around 4:20, and about an hour and a half in, we are through 5.5 here at George Taylor. And Brock Granger will be followed up by Marcus Butts, the number 3 hitter in the order. Will ground it to Bowles. He's been busy in this inning. Sends it to first. Graydon Miller completing the out. And it's 2 quick outs for Joe Chaya. And in addition to his work of art on the corners of the strike zone, he's forcing some soft contact into the infield to get quick outs. Has thrown a total of just 4 pitches. And now Alex Keene coming up to bat. The final batter due up for these Ironbacks. Hoping to extend the inning. He has 1 hit on the day already. It's a fly ball into left field. It'll drop to the left in fair territory. And Gavin Boyle unable to get there in time. It's a stand-up double for Alex Keene. The 3rd hit of the day for the Ironbacks. Keene is now 2 for 3. Product of Moorhead State, showing off his Division I power on that double right along the third base line. Drops fair, and Gavin Boyle unable to chase it down in time. And Connor Gayton's up next. We'll take the ball from Chaya up high. Gayton's is 0 for 1 with a walk today. But it's 2 down with the runner on second in Alex Keene. Keene has a big lead. That'll be in there for a strike. High edge of the zone. Evens up the count at 1. Chaya last pitched on Wednesday against the Tarp Skunks. And the count will be at 2 strikes after the foul ball. So a 2-2 count. 2s across the board now. After the Alex Keene double. 2 the magic number right now. Also the most runs scored in an inning by either of these teams today. It's a pop-up. Heads down into foul territory on the first base side. Drops in the stands, out of play. Joe Chaya. Looking for his 3rd out of his day right here. 1 strike away. It's a foul tip to keep Gatons alive. Chaya has gotten better and better every time he's made an outing for these Americans. Comes from SUNY Niagara, a 3 ERA over there in limited work. He's continued to improve his craft here as Keene takes off for 3rd. He will be well safe on ball 3. Count is full. Keen's on third, looking to come around and be the first Ironback to score today. Also leads the Ironbacks in the hit column today. And that'll be ball 4. Joe Chaya walking his first batter of the day in the form of Connor Gatens. It's his second walk. First came against Rocher. Chase Hubble up next has struck out and walked today. We'll see what Chaya can do against him. And if those corners will fool Hubble. Also, if Chaya will be able to find his precision here. Right there he does for strike 1. Chaya. The 0-1 pitch will go inside at the feet of the batter Hubble to even up the count. Chase Hubble can also pitch, but primarily a batter here and an outfielder here for these Ironbacks. Has played a great center field over the last couple of days of this home and home. It's 2-1 to him with Chaya on the bump. He delivers. Swing and a miss. Will even things up. 2s across the board again. Joe Chaya just looking for that final out to get out of this inning with runners on the corners. Every Chaya appearance has come out of the pen. And the count is now full on Hubble. On deck is another Bismarck State product, Bryce Bedrosian. See if Hubble is able to get on here. Either score runs or load the bases. And it'll be a ball 4 to Hubble. Second consecutive walk for Chaya. Bases are juiced for Bedrosian. Bryce Bedrosian 0 for 2 today.
Number 19, Bryce Bedrosian.
Came in batting .083. Gonna have to step things up if he wants to get the Ironbacks some runs on the board. He represents the go-ahead run. Down 3-0. It appears we may have a pinch hitter here for these Ironbacks.
We have a pinch hitter. Number 5, Carter Shin.
We'll see who it is in just a moment, but Carter Shin gonna come in for Bedrosian. Shin, the starting shortstop last night, leading the team in batting average at .357. Great time to bring him into the game in a critical moment. He will now represent the go-ahead run for these Ironbacks against Joe Chaya. Americans had more insurance for their pitchers yesterday against these Ironbacks. Only up 3-0 today after an excellent start by Wolf. That is driven into left center field, and nobody will be there. It's a base hit. 1 run scores, second run coming in. The Ironbacks will cut the lead to just 1 in this 6th inning. A big hit for Carter Shin. As he pinch hits for Bedrosian, continuing to build on his excellent batting average. And we'll see who will bat next, as Richard Griffin has been starting to make some subs here. Briggs headed back to the dugout. Here's we'll have another pinch hitter right here. And it is Nolan Phelan, the pinch hitter, with 2 runners in scoring position. Carter Shin now on second base after the single and advance on the throw. And he represents the go-ahead run. And the runner on third represents the tying run. That would be Chase Hubble. So Shin on second, Hubble on third, and a ball on the count. Joe Chaya had 2 early outs, now struggling here. And it's 2-0 to the new batter, Nolan Phelan. Phelan played against these Americans last night. Batting .231 on the year, .705 OPS. Ironbacks have now cut the lead to 3-2, a chance to take over here if they can score the runners on second and third. And the red light on Nolan Phelan. He takes the strike. Chaya back to painting those corners. We'll see if that can lead to some success here, but instead, he will hit Phelan. The bases are reloaded. And Nolan Phelan heads to first to join Shin on second, Hubble on third. And now, Tsukamoto headed back to the dugout. It's going to be another pinch hitter. Richard Griffin continuing to make substitutions against Joe Chaya here. He'll bring in another lefty, Andrew Bishop, to face the lefty Chaya. Now meeting on the mound with Will Cordero. Cannot afford any more damage here. Bases are juiced. Ironbacks are 1 run away from tying the ball game. That runner is on third. Chase Hubble. Carter Shin also representing the go-ahead run. These Ironbacks are showing some fight here, looking for their first win over the Americans. And there comes the run on the hit batsman. Andrew Bishop takes first. Joe Chaya is starting to lose control here as it's all tied up here from George Taylor. The Americans had the 3-0 lead and have given it all up. Now it's Devin Medor. He's struck out 3 times. Can Chaya be next to strike out the leadoff hitter in this Ironbacks order? The way things have been going, Chaya will have to turn things around right here. But it's going to be a chopper headed to Bowles. He'll throw to first in time for out number 3. So Chaya gives up 3 runs to tie the ball game, but the damage will stop there. It's a tie ball game here from George Taylor. We'll be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the top of the 7th inning with some defensive substitutions. And Nolan Phelan is in left field for Grayson Briggs. Carter Shin at short. Devin Medor shifts over to second. Andrew Bishop taking over at first as Alan Ramos comes in to face the Ironbacks. Jaden Corpin still pitching in this 7th inning. It's strike 1 to Alan Ramos. Ramos. Already 1 for 2 today. We're going to build on that. And the count is now even. Americans lost their 3-run lead in that bottom of the inning. Looking to take the lead back. With Ramos up to bat, they have a 2-1 lead in the count. The pitch will be flown into shallow right field. It'll be caught by Devin Medor for out number 1. So that brings it to the bottom of the Americans order. Derek Gismondi. Gismondi had his second hit of the season today. Now faces a pretty much completely new infield for these Ironbacks. Gismondi, the deep fly ball into right center field, will be caught by Hubble for the second out. So the Americans needed some runs here, and so far just outs. Ramos and Gismondi down consecutively, with Grant Moore stepping in. Moore 1 for 2. Also got hit today. So it's his 4th time up. Moore looking for hit number 2. Shows bunt, and that'll be strike 1 on the outside. No contact made on the bunt attempt. 3-3 ball game. Ironbacks out hit by the Americans, though, 5-4. Count is now even at 1. Grant Moore going to send that into left field for a base hit. Americans showing some fight here in this 7th inning. It's the 6th hit of the day for Niagara Falls, and Evan Core will come up next, looking to expand his hit streak to 10 games. Will Cordero rarely making substitutions mid-game. It's a stark difference from these Ironbacks today, who made 3 substitutions through pinch hitting, all in that 6th inning, and it paid off to tie the game at 3. And Grant Moore had a lead at first. Will scurry back on ball 1 after the pump fake by Connor Gatens behind the dish. Corpin will throw to first again, but the ball gets away from Bishop. Moore gonna hang there. Knew Bishop was close, didn't want to risk anything, because that would be out number 3 if Moore is tagged out. Moore already has steal number 14 today. Can he make it 15? And that'll be sent down the third base line. It'll get past Brock Granger. He bobbles it. It's runners on first and second. Brock Granger dove for it, but then lost it. We'll see what the ruling is here. It'll be the 7th hit of the Americans' day. Gavin Boyle with 2 on, 2 out, a big moment for these Americans. Had 4 home runs for them last season, looking for his first of the year here at George Taylor. Slow start to his day, he's 0 for 3. Will take strike 1 on the outside. Jaden Corpin looking to get out of this inning unscathed and keep this ball game tied. Corpin faced the Americans in the first matchup between these teams. It's a foul ball for strike 2. Just a piece of it for Gavin Boyle, but now no wiggle room for him. Jaden Corpin 1 strike away from this inning ending. And Gavin Boyle will stay alive here. Boyle, 2 doubles already this season. A double here could mean big things for the Americans, give them their lead back. But instead, it's going to be a low inside ball 1. Boyle having to move a bit out of the way for that. Seven hits on the day for the Americans. Boyle looking to make it 8. That ball will briefly get away from Gatens. Runners will hold as Gatens follows the ball with the count now at 2s. It's 2s across the board as Gavin Boyle gets ready to step back in here. Looking to come through in a clutch moment. Both runners have a big lead. Moore and Core. It's another inside ball. Count is now full. The stakes could not be higher for Jaden Corpin. Runners on first and second. Game all tied up. The go-ahead run for Niagara Falls represented by Grant Moore at second base. Corpin checks on Moore. He has a huge lead. Runners go. It's fouled off. Right, a rocket right down the first base line by Gavin Boyle. Boyle was one of the best bats in this Americans lineup a year ago when he was here. 281, 860 OPS. Had 24 RBIs. He already has 3 this year. Runners go again. It's another foul ball. Man, they got to be getting tired out at this point. But count is still full. Gavin Boyle continuing to work this count. Coming up on double-digit pitches here in the at-bat. Here's the pitch. Another one foul. Gavin Boyle battling back and forth with Jaden Corpin. Corpin up to 22 pitches. 13 of them have been strikes. We'll see what Gavin Boyle can do here with the full count. 2 on, 2 out. Corpin. Here's the payoff pitch. And it's a dribbler right down the first base line. It'll be sent to first base, and it is not in time. Gavin Boyle reaches first base, and coming in to score is the speedy Grant Moore. On a dribbling ground ball, the Americans retake the lead 4-3. Wow, that was a very close one at first base. Corpin was there, Bishop was there. Nobody could get Gavin Boyle out. Gavin Boyle on first base as it's a rocket into left field. Going back at the wall. It goes off the wall. It's a double by Dalton Harper. It scores 1. And Gavin Boyle holds up on third. Dalton Harper with a massive hit to keep the runs going for these Americans. They lead 5-3. It'll be ruled a single for Gavin Boyle and then a double for Dalton Harper. Americans are up to 9 hits, and Jaden Corpin's day may be over with 2 runners in scoring position and Paul Delanto up. Dalton Harper was maybe a few feet away from sending that out of the ballpark. It ends up going off the wall for the double. An excellent inning by these Americans. An excellent response to the 3-run inning but for the Ironbacks in the 6th. And Dalton Harper with a big 4th RBI has reached base every time up today. One of his biggest days of the season. He did have a 3-hit game against the Tarp Skunks as well. But Dalton Harper is at his best in this one. It's strike 1 on Delanto as Corpin hangs in there. Harper on second, Boyle on third. Both returnees for these Americans from 2024. It's a ground ball down the third base line, foul. Delanto, one strike away from being retired here for out number 3. Still 2 runners in scoring position. The Americans can really break this game open if Delanto cashes in on a couple more RBIs here. And instead, he will pop it up in foul territory. It is going to drop out of play. It was close for Brock Granger, but heads towards the Americans' dugout. Could have been a trip and fall for him if he chases after that one. Paul Delanto already 1 for 2 today. No RBIs on the day yet, but he has 12 on the season. Chance for number 13 and 14 here. It's a fly ball into center field. Ends up shallow, and the catch will be made by Devin Medor for out number 3. So the Americans score 2 but strand 2. They lead 5-3 as we head to the bottom of the 7th. We'll be right back. Ever dreamed of playing catch right here at Sal Magley Stadium? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field. Back for the bottom of the 7th as C.J. Hurley steps in as the new pitcher for the Americans. Hurley has seen a mix of starts and relief outings. He has a 6.75 ERA, 0-1 record, and 10 strikeouts. This is his 4th total appearance for Niagara Falls. Last appeared on Sunday against the Pios. And up first to bat is Brock Granger. Granger, the number 2 hitter in this order, will take a low ball from Hurley. Americans inning ends on the Paul Delanto flyout. They'll have Graydon Miller up first in the 8th inning, and it's 2-0 now to the batter, Brock Granger. Pitch from Hurley, swing and a miss. Big strike on Granger. Hurley looking to climb back into this count. Product of Niagara University. And that is a foul tip to even up the count. Hurley, the second-year American as well. He was very effective last season, 1-0, a 1.42 ERA, looking to get back to those numbers this year. Mixed results over his first couple of starts, and a relief outing that was pretty seamless. So hoping for the same here in his second time out of the pen for this team. Count is even at 2. Granger stepping back in. Hurley sets, delivers. And it'll be just in there for ball 3. Count is full. Brock Granger looking to get on base for the first time today, or rather second, but it's a foul tip. Brock Granger taking a swing there, taking a shot, as the count is still full. Payoff pitch from Hurley is going to be sent right back to him. They'll call it foul. Ball goes a little bit dead, drops between the mound and home plate. So this has been a long at bat between Hurley and Granger, almost reminiscent of the Jaden Corpin at bat against Gavin Boyle that ended in a Boyle single. The pitch, swing and a miss. CJ Hurley gets a strikeout on his first batter faced. And we want to remind you that the 7th inning here on the Americans Baseball Network is sponsored by Elks Lodge, Bikers Against Child Abuse, the Stalka Agency, and Red Robin Gourmet Burgers and Brews. And to follow up, Brock Granger is the number 3 hitter in this order, Marcus Butts. He swings and misses a big cut for strike 1. Hurley looking for his second strikeout in a row. And his 12th on the year, just got number 11. Check swing. Say did not go around. Ones across the board. Marcus Butts, the DH today, can also catch and sends it down the third base line for a base hit. Marcus Butts, his first hit of the day, first time on base today. The Ironbacks have something going here in this 7th inning. Looking to respond to 2 runs from the Americans in the top of the inning. Alex Keene represents the tying run. Keene having a great day, a single and a double to make him 2 for 3. I mean, coming from D1 Moorhead State, you'd expect that big hitting. Also a 300 hitter over there. Swings and misses for strike 1. Hurley getting him to chase on the breaking ball. That's a good mix of pitches. Division I product that is lined right to Satinoff. He bobbles it out at second, though. So it's 2 down. And ends up being 1 out for the Americans. Chance it could have been a double play if not for the misplay by Satinoff. We'll wait for the official ruling. It'll be a reach on a fielder's choice for Alex Keene. So he's on for the 3rd time today, but 2 for 4. As out number 2 is recorded at second base on the toss from Satinoff to Ramos, who covers. Connor Gatens came in batting .294. He's 0 for 1 today. It's just a bit outside for ball 1. Hurley getting ready to hurl on the 1-0. And taken off is Alex Keene, rather, and he is out at second base. He's caught stealing, and Connor Gatens will have to get another chance in the 8th inning because that's it for the 7th. Americans lead 5-3. And tag out Alex Keene at second. We'll be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Eighth inning here from George Taylor Field. Jaden Corpin still pitching as the Americans lead 5-3. This eighth inning on the Americans Baseball Network is brought to you by Seneca Niagara Resort and Casino, the official casino of the Americans. More winning, more comfort, more entertainment. Go to SenecaNiagaraCasino.com for more. Had the chance to check out the facility pretty recently. It is a very nice place. Some good dining and a free slot play with every Americans ticket. Strike one to Miller. Due up in this inning alongside Jack Satinoff and Brady Bowles. They're playing a first, second, and third, respectively, for this team today. 2 strikes on Miller. And that'll drop for a ball. 1-2 count. Miller looking for his first hit today. Swing and a miss. So Graydon Miller will be Jaden Corpin's strikeout victim on this one. Corpin recording his first, or rather second strikeout of the day. Jack Satinoff has had 3 strikeouts on the day, 2 at the mercy of Wolf, and the other one from Corpin was to him. Takes strike one on the outside part of the plate. Jack Satinoff, it's been a rough go ever since he struck out looking in Auburn and was pinch hit for after 1 at bat. It's ones across the board for him. Looking to break out of a rough patch. The second baseman today. Inside for ball 2. Also bobbled one in the infield just last inning. Was still able to get an out of it on the throw to Ramos. That's a fly ball into right field, making contact for the first time, but the catch will be made in the shallow outfield by Devin Medor. Ends up being more of a pop-up for out number 2. And Brady Bowles, the final hitter due up in this inning, looking to prevent the Americans from going down 1-2-3 after the Miller strikeout and Satinoff pop-out. Brady Bowles takes strike one on the curveball from Corpin. Corpin has given up 3 runs in 2 innings. That one on the breaking ball will end up outside to even up the count. Ethan Wolf, 5 innings of work to start things off. Corpin has taken the reins since. He's recorded the last 8 outs for these Ironbacks. But some runs allowed in between. All 3 of the runs, or all 2 rather, were earned. 1 went to Corpin, or 1 went to Wolf rather, but that'll drop for the hit for the Americans. And Brady Bowles will get on base again here. Now 2 for 3 with a walk. The 10th hit of the day for Niagara Falls. Just drops as a bloop single in the outfield. And Alan Ramos up next. And Bowles is taken off, but it's a foul ball. Will have to go right back. Ramos is 1 for 3. One of 5 Americans with a ribby today, alongside Graydon Miller, Dalton Harper, Gavin Boyle, and Derek Gismondi. Quiet 3-game hit streak after the hit early today. And he's been very effective at shortstop as well, so really starting to get into a groove here for these Americans. And the pickoff attempt again at first base. Bowles will slide in safe. It's 0-1 with 2 down. The pitch is going to be sent down the third base line. That'll be stopped by Granger. Sent to Bishop for out number 3. Ironbacks keep it a 2-run difference as we head to the bottom of the 8th. We'll be right back.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Back for the bottom of the 8th. And fans, we want to thank you for tuning in on the broadcast today, but I want to remind you that an Americans game is a great way to bring your group together, whether it's a school, church, business, or youth sports organization. Lots of great options, and even picnics for your organization or business. You can find them on the Americans website. And CJ Hurley still in to face Connor Gatens. It's a ground ball to third base, thrown across the field for out number 1. And Brady Bowles has been excellent at third base. Retires Gatens. It's now Hubble and Bedrosian to face C.J. Hurley. Hurley, one of 2 lefty hurlers in this Americans pen. They've used both of them today. Joe Chaya came in the 6th. Be upstairs for ball 1. With 1 down, Chase Hubble stepping in. He takes a second ball, this one in the dirt. Chase Hubble, a Welland native, so playing very close to home, and he fouls it off to make it 2-1. The 2-1 from Hurley is in there on the outside part of the plate for strike 2. Count is evened up with 1 down and nobody on. Hurley looking for another strikeout, and the foul tip will allow Chase Hubble to hang in there. Hubble has already struck out today. one of 3 strikeout victims for this Ironbacks team. Devin Medor happened 3 times for him, but everybody else just once. Hubble striking out a second time. C.J. Hurley has another here. And that right there is strikeout number 12 on the season for the lefty. Carter Shin, initially pinch hit, coming in to follow up Chase Hubble. Shin had a double on his first at bat. Shows bunt. That's right back to Hurley and sent to first in time for out number 3. Ironbacks did have Carter Shin, but they go down 1-2-3 in this 8th inning. We'll be right back for the top of the 9th.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the top of the 9th, and this 9th inning is sponsored by Casella, Salino Plumbing, Blaze Brockway Contracting, and Wright Beverages. And Jaden Corpin will keep pitching for these Ironbacks. He came in the 6th and has kept going ever since. It'll be Derek Jesmondi, and then the top of the order for these Americans, Moore and Core, also due up. They've really settled in as the 1 and 2 hitters in this lineup. Jesmondi takes the ball outside to start things off here in the 9th. Jesmondi 1 for 2 in RBI. RBI came on the sac fly rather than on his hit. 2-0 count to him. Also has a lot of walks on the season, hence his high on-base percentage. And that'll be sent into deep right field, but coming under it to make the catch is Alex Keene. Falls for the flyout. And now Grant Moore is up next for the Americans. It's back to the top of the order, and Moore is 2 for 3, single and a double. 1 of 5 to come around and score for these Americans today alongside Core, Harper, Bowles, and Ramos. And he will send a fly ball into left center field. Backing up for the catch is Nolan Phelan. He stepped in for Grayson Briggs in left field and makes his presence known with that one. So Moore likely to finish his day 2 for 4, barring extra innings. And Evan Core will bat next. Got his hit streak up to 10 games his last time up. The pitch from Corpin is in there on the breaking ball for strike 1. Already 2 down for these Americans. Evan Core, the final shot for the Americans to add some more insurance with a 2-run lead. Another breaking ball makes it 2 strikes to Core. Does not bite. Jaden Corpin looking to put up the donut here in this 9th inning. If he does, the fans here will get free donuts. So Jaden Corpin with some extra charged motivation here. 1 strike away from ending the inning against Evan Core. Core looking to climb out of this 0-2 hole. And he sends it on a line drive into left field. Will it be fair or foul? It'll drop foul. Looked like it was headed right towards the foul pole, but ends up going a little bit to the left of it. It was a fast line drive. And Evan Core always makes some great contact, but it's gotten a little unlucky over the course of the season. Lined out right to the left fielder a couple games ago. And that'll be a shallow fly ball. Backing up to make the catch is Devin Medor. That'll be free donuts for the fans here at George Taylor Field, but the Americans still the chance to win. They lead 5-3 headed into the bottom of the 9th. We'll be right back.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Bottom of the 9th here at George Taylor Field. C.J. Hurley, the shot for the long save with a 2-run lead, and his first customer here will be Nolan Phelan. He'll be followed up by fellow pinch hitter Andrew Bishop and Devin Medor. It's ball 1 on the batter Phelan, now 2-0. So Hurley down in the count early, trying to recover. That's a strike down the pike. Phelan will not even bite. A swing and miss right there, and C.J. Hurley battling back, evening up the count. Nolan Phelan gonna have to hang in here. He takes time out. Then steps in. The pitch is going to be lined down the third base line. It'll end up dropping foul. Brady Bowles was thinking about it, but ends up foul territory on the bouncing grounder. Another 2-2 from Hurley. That's going to be a chop foul. Similar spot, but a little faster to Bowles right there. Richard Griffin, the Ironbacks manager, also serving as third base coach. It's going to be a chopper. This one will go to Bowles in fair territory. Sent to Miller, and it is in there for out number 1. 2 more outs needed for C.J. Hurley. He's recorded 7 outs for these Americans without much of a scratch. Just 1 hit allowed over 2 1/3, and it's Andrew Bishop up next. That's going to find the zone on the outside corner for strike 1. Hurley looking to finish strong here. Minor check swing, but it goes in the dirt. It's 1-1. One's across the board as C.J. Hurley is 2 outs away from his first save of the season. Foul ball heads to the right side. Hurley has a loss on the season, but no wins or saves yet. The pitch will be in there for strike 3. Harper going to have to throw to first to complete the strikeout, and there it is. Hurley 1 out away from this.
Now batting, number 7,
Devin Medor in to face C.J. Hurley. He would have the final 9 outs of the game if he can retire Medor. Devin Medor has struck out 3 times. C.J. Hurley can complete the golden sombrero on him if he strikes him out right here. But it's 1-0 right now, and the fly ball into shallow right field will be caught for out number 3 by Derek Gismondi. The Americans win 5-3. They are now 5-0 on the season in the battle for the Falls. It was a close one today, back and forth pitchers duel, but the Americans come out on top with some help from Jake Rocher, C.J. Hurley, and a huge day from Dalton Harper on offense and behind the dish. A great game here at George Taylor Field, but the Americans will be back at Sal Magley tomorrow. They'll take on the Muck Dogs. First pitch also at 4 p.m. We'll have all the coverage right here on the Americans Baseball Network as the Americans try to dethrone the hottest team in the West Division. That'll do it for today's broadcast, though. Final score here from George Taylor Field. The Americans 5, the Ironbacks 3. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in, and be sure to come to the